Okay. Hi guys, I'm Kelly with Mid-Peninsula Moms Blog. We are very excited to be doing another Facebook Live with our contributing writer and resident sleep expert, Dr. Sarah Mitchell from Helping Babies Sleep. Today we're going to talk about the one thing your baby needs to sleep through the night. The one thing. I can't wait to see what this is.
Making it sound so simple. But
I know. I'm like, is it a full belly? Is it a dark room? Is it a noisemaker? We're going to find out. She is going to tell us all about it. So before we start, I just have a question, and I'm going to be taking some live questions here, and I have a couple that were emailed. But what is sleeping through the night? I mean, what does that really mean?
I'm so glad you asked, because people talk about sleeping through the night with different terminology.
Right.
So for some people that might be 6 hours, and in the newborn stage especially, like 0 to 3 months of age, often people refer to sleeping through the night as a 6-hour stretch.
Right.
But then, there's also that mom at Starbucks who said, my son slept through the night last night, and he's 4 months of age. And he was in his crib for 11 hours, but he still fed twice.
Right.
And then there's people like me who refer to sleeping through the night as 11 to 12 hours of uninterrupted sleep without feeds.
Okay.
So it's important to know that definition when you're comparing yourself to other people, because we all do it. Even
yeah, don't compare. Don't compare.
Don't compare. Our goal here today is just to kind of give you reasonable expectations that you can take and run with, because there's no one way to parent your child, but we're just going to try and give you some general guidelines to help you out.
So that's a good point. So what is a reasonable expectation for a formula-fed baby versus a breastfed baby?
Yeah.
What's reasonable?
In my experience, they're quite different. So, formula-fed, I don't want to make you think that if you feed your baby formula, she will sleep better. But formula-fed children tend to sleep through the night earlier.
Okay.
Because formula has a slower transit time through the intestine.
Right.
And not only that, but mom has a track record of how many ounces her child is eating through the day.
You're giving it. Yeah.
Has a bit of greater confidence. So in my experience, exclusively breastfed kids don't usually sleep 11 to 12 hours until about 8 to 9 months. Once you've got 3 meals and 2 snacks established. Okay. And that can vary, of course. There's things we can't measure, like how fatty is your breast milk. That'll make a difference because it'll be more satiating and last longer.
Right.
And then formula-fed kids, I find they do tend to go earlier. Those with good sleeping habits can go as early as 5 months of age.
Yeah.
So it's quite a big difference. So let's just put that out there. There's a very big range.
Yeah. No, totally. And again, don't compare yourself to other people, because every baby is going to be so different and so unique. Even siblings, people think, oh, my first child did this, so this is what's going to happen. And that's
well, on that point, like at least half of my clients are second-time parents, or third-time parents. So
yeah,
temperament plays a big role in these things.
Absolutely. So before we find out what the secret is, what are some things that people try to get their kids to sleep a little bit longer?
Well, I'm sure you and I both tried that.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So we tried keeping our child up longer so that he would sleep better.
Right.
Don't do that.
Or make them extra tired. Taking them to the park and running them around.
Yes. And then, that helps some bit. But I remember in particular, my husband keeping our 3-month-old up later at night while I would go and sleep. Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's not the right thing to do. Keep them up longer so they will sleep better. No.
They get overtired.
And they get totally overtired. It just backfires.
Yeah.
Other things, like trying to put formula or cereal into that last bottle of the day. I see that commonly. Putting a shirt with your scent on it into their crib.
Yeah.
Throwing pacifiers all over the crib. Things like that.
Right.
Things like that.
So those are common things that people try.
Yes.
So we're going to get to the secret. Let me check in real quick with the live feed to see if we have some live questions before we tell you. No, we don't have any questions yet. So let's talk about it. What the one thing is that they really need.
So you can top up your calories all you want. You can work on bed timing, but ultimately, age plays a factor. Calories play a factor, and then you can have a baby with a full tummy who's well rested who still doesn't sleep through the night because they don't have self-soothing skills. And
self-soothing skills. That's actually really hard to say. Self-soothing skills. Say that 3 times.
Yeah. Self-soothing
so that's the one secret.
That's the secret. That's what your child needs. And what is a self-soothing skill?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Okay. So essentially, you want your child to be able to go into the crib from being calm, not drowsy, calm but awake, and be able to relax themselves into sleep. And a self-soothing skill could be something like sucking your thumb. Your child doesn't have to do that. Lots of people don't want that.
Right.
No big deal. That's one of them. Sleeping in a favorite position. A lot of kids want to sleep on their stomach. We always put kids down on their back, but once most of them will roll onto their stomach. Yeah. And that's really a big turning point when I'm doing sleeping training with like a 4 or 5 month old. When we start the training, they eventually roll and things get a lot better.
Right, because they're more comfortable.
Yeah, they're more comfortable.
Right.
Other self-soothing skills are things that are repetitive. So often kids will rub the back of their head into the mattress, or moaning and groaning is another one. And some kids blow bubbles. And this sounds crazy, but sometimes kids have what we call like a mantra cry, a little bit of crying that peaks and then stops. And that can be a way that they relax themselves. So a self-soothing skill. So for your child to be able to sleep those 11 to 12 hours at night, he or she needs to be able to go from awake and relax herself or himself back down into sleep. Because all humans will wake up in the night. Like, think about yourself. You check the clock. You
check the monitor.
Check the monitor.
Help my toddler go to the bathroom.
hit your husband in the ribs, being stop snoring. We all do it.
We all move. You
move around. And so does your child.
Right.
Like it's unrealistic to expect that there'll be 11 hours without a peep. There's going to be a peep, and kids often, we'll often have loud transitioners. Those kids who sleep through a 3-hour sleep cycle, surface, yell out, and then roll back over and go back to sleep.
Right. So they just need to learn how to put themselves back to sleep and not freak out when they wake up. Oh my gosh, where's mommy?
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm in my crib, totally safe. I'm going to go back to sleep.
I did this at bedtime, right? Yeah. So that's where a lot of people get into trouble is I hear, I nurse my child at bedtime, but he's awake when I put him into the crib. Yeah. But then every 3 hours he wakes up and I have to nurse him back to sleep. Right. So one nighttime sleep cycle is 3 hours. So your child is surfacing from a sleep cycle and then looking for help, looking for the same way that he or she fell asleep to fall back asleep.
Now, what's a crutch? Because you always hear about these sleep crutches, things that you think are going to work and then actually, work against you, right?
Yeah. So a sleep crutch is something external that your child needs to help them relax. Okay. So I've broken it down into, there's 3 crutch categories.
Are they bad?
Those first few months, you're doing whatever you have to do to help. So it's not that they're bad. And there's some kids that never need sleep training just because their temperament allows inconsistency in their world. So maybe they get a sleep crutch at bedtime, but they've mastered self-soothing through the night. There's kids that are like that. Okay. But the kids that I see don't do that. Okay. So sleep crutches, are they bad? They're here nor there. You do what you got to do at the time. Right. And you may or may not have to, correct that later on, basically. Okay. So a sleep crutch is something like, nursing to drowsy or nursing to sleep, touch, so co-sleeping, being held, and motion, so being in a swing, being in a car seat, in a car, and then sucking, so breast bottle or pacifier. So those are your 3 categories. Okay. Motion, touch, and what was the other one I just said? Anyway, those are 3, basically.
Rewind.
Yeah, rewind.
Okay, perfect. So how do you get rid of it? So like if let's say your kid only sleeps in the car and you don't want to drive around the block every night, how do you break these ones that become bad, I guess? Yeah.
So essentially that's where like sleep training comes into play. And I hate that term because it's really should be sleep teaching.
It sounds scary. It sounds mean.
It does.
Like I remember when we first started sleep training, my first son, I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm like so mean.
Worst parent
yes, it does really have a negative connotation to it.
Yeah, it really does have a negative
Sleep teaching sounds better. Let's change that.
Yeah, sleep teaching, right? And then I think the negative connotation comes in the dialogue that we have out there in social media and society is someone talks about sleep training their child, but we don't know what age that person is. Right. We don't know what their caloric intake is through the day. We don't know we don't know how often they're waking up through the night already. In my practice, I usually with sleep training, I work with 4 months old and up, but I have worked with kids who are younger, because they're waking up every hour and everyone is so exhausted. It's like you guys can't go on like this. We have to be a bit more proactive here. Right. So. I'm like, where are we going with this?
Yes, how do we get rid of the sleep crutch?
And the other thing about sleep training is it's not just picking a method, right? It's setting your child up for success and you up for success by educating yourself on what is age appropriate for your child, right? So like if you're trying to sleep train your 4-month-old breastfed baby to sleep 11 to 12 hours at night, in my world, that's unrealistic. Right? So you're not going to be successful.
Don't put that pressure on you if it's really something that is unrealistic.
So sleep training. And most people say, well, I have this, lovey in their crib and they're totally not interested in it. Yeah. And they won't be until you take away the crutch that they have already.
Right.
So often, for a lot of the people that I work with, it's nursing to sleep. And, they're drowsy or fully asleep or just even relaxed from the nursing at bedtime when they're put in. Right. They have no interest in that lovey. But when you get into sleep training, you start using the lovey to give that to them to create a new sleep association. Oh, yeah, the lovey feels soft against my face. And this helps me relax. And that's why you do it.
Right. My 2-year-old likes to sing.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but it's super fun because my toddler's trying to go to sleep and then my little one's like singing. And I'm like, everyone needs to be quiet. So it is really sweet, but it's hard because then my toddler hears him and then he wants to sing, and that's different.
Yeah. We all have our own battles.
Right.
We do.
So we have a couple questions that were emailed in. I just want to check the live feed real quick. I'm not getting it over here, so let me just make sure we're here. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to go to the ones that were emailed through the event page. Earlier. You can always email us when you see that we're doing a live. We put it on our event page, and you can always send us an email. So we have a couple here. Okay, my 7-month-old daughter is nursed at bedtime, but she is awake when I put her in her crib, and she falls asleep on her own. Way to go. But then she wakes up every 3 hours to eat. What is happening?
Right. So that kind of goes back to what I was talking about with them. Even though she's awake, it's the nursing and just being held that's calmed her.
So she needs something else to calm her.
So she needs to learn how to do that on her own.
Right.
Because she wakes up every 3 hours and she wants that same feeling of being held and having the milk and sucking and relaxing. So she'll have to do some sleep training, to teach that. Yes. Yeah, to teach that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my experience.
My son does great with his pacifier and puts himself to sleep at bedtime with it. He is 9 months old and wakes 2 to 3 times a night, and I have to go back in and reinsert the pacifier. Okay, I've done this because they search and they can't find it.
Yeah. So the pacifier. So there's a study that shows that after 7 months, kids are capable of finding it and reinserting it. And didn't you guys just do like a giveaway?
Yes. So on San Francisco Mom's blog, which is our sister site, we did a giveaway. It might still be running. It might have ended last night. Don't quote me on this. But it's a glow-in-the-dark pacifier.
So they can find it in the crib.
Yeah. Does this work?
For some kids, it does work. Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of a question of if she was 4 months using the pacifier and you're waking up so much, and I'd say just get rid of it and get those self-soothing skills working. Right. At 9 months, if your child can find it in the crib and reinsert it, then that can work too. Right. It depends on your child's temperament. I've worked with toddlers before where I say, okay, if you really want to keep the pacifier, let's try it and see what happens. Yeah. And the ones that I've worked with are bad sleepers, right? They're consulting with me because they've tried things on their own and they haven't been successful. Right. And the ones that I work with in the end, we just get it prolonged the sleep training, because to wake up and find it wakes you up more. Even more than just like tossing and turning a little bit. And so we found that it prolonged everything because she was that much more awake in the middle of the night. So it just depends. I kind of think, just get rid of it, because you're going to have to get rid of it at some point. Right. And if you're making the effort to go through a sleep training plan, why not just tackle it all at once? Right. No, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. So let me check the live feed again. I can't get the live feed on my laptop. That's why I'm switching over here. So hi, Carly. Oh, that's so fun. Oh, yeah. That's so cute. That's Carly, my chiropractic friend. She says, thanks for your help with my baby. She's such a happier baby, and I'm finally feeling normal again. That's so sweet. Yeah. Awesome. So glad to hear, Carly. Perfect. Maple. We actually have a couple of comments here. Hang on. People are saying hi. Oh, the giveaway on San Francisco Mom Blog ends tonight. Yeah. So Mercedes just chimed in. So it ends tonight. So if you do want a glow-in-the-dark pacifier, we have them on our Facebook page. Yeah. Perfect. And I think the other question was, how long would it take a mom to implement those tricks? Yeah, I just saw it. So I think that relates to the sleep training. Like, how long, if you're still on, let me know if this is the right question to be answering. How long does sleep training take? So my programs are 2 weeks in length generally, but I'll tell you that most people with my program are well on their way by about night 6 to 7. Oh, okay. So the first 2 nights are always the worst, and then it generally gets better. And the first few days, the victory is just having your child fall asleep in their crib without having, their sleep crush. Right. That's your victory. Right. And then from there, I find around day 4 to 5, you start to get like a nap pattern emerging. Okay. Certain naps are certain lengths. And then the last kind of week is just kind of nuances and little troubleshooting things that might come up. But in general, So Hallie has a question. Does sleep training only work with little ones? No.
So you can do it with older children.
Yeah, so sleep training is all about teaching your child to sleep.
Yeah.
So if she's had a sleep crutch, so in my practice, I work with kids up to age around 3, basically, because I find after age 3, it's more of a parent coaching situation. I often refer those clients to parent coaches because it's all about boundaries and your relationship. And sometimes older kids, I find, it gets into anxiety.
Yeah.
So I rather refer those out.
Okay.
Yeah. So older kids, it depends what you need. Toddlers, absolutely.
Okay. I think those are all of our questions that were live. They finally came up. Thanks. Sorry for that delay, guys. I don't know why I'm not getting it down here. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We're very excited to be doing these Facebook Lives with Dr. Sarah Mitchell. She also writes for us on the blog, so we actually have a post that's dedicated to this topic, so you guys can go take a look. Please continue to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to be putting this on YouTube as well. And then check out Helping Babies Sleep. Do you want to tell them where they can find more information about you?
Yeah, www.helpingbabysleep.com. You can check out my page and my services, and you're always welcome to join my free sleep group where I call it my Starbucks group. So if I can answer your sleep questions while we're at Starbucks in line waiting for a coffee, then I can answer it on Facebook. And if you go to my Facebook page, Helping Babies Sleep, you'll see the link to the group.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.